Hello, hello, hello. This is Kenny Perkins, aka Your Cancer Guy. And today, as always, we have another phenomenal guest. For this guest, we travel to Budapest. Yes, this person here is no doubt an amazing individual who I believe you're going to all love. A wonderful smile and just full of fight and life in her. And it's amazing. And so I want to introduce you to her. We're talking to Anna Tower-Kövesdi. Please bring her to the show. Hello, Anna.
Hi, Kenny. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us here, Anna.
Sure.
And Budapest, it's quite a journey away from the US, right?
Yeah, it's actually like 6,000 miles.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Anna, what were you doing out in Budapest? Like, what is your profession and what did you do out there?
Okay, so I born there. I'm Hungarian, actually, and I worked in public relations and communications. And I just moved to the US, to Colorado last summer to marry my husband. And since then, I'm living in Colorado.
Yes. Well, welcome to the US now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's so amazing. I'm already a green card holder, and it's such a happiness after a year.
Yes. Anna, your smile brights up a room for sure, and it's nice to have you on here to tell your story, because so many people that are dealing with cancer don't want to talk about it. It's scary. Some feel that it's embarrassing. And if you guys are all wondering, I didn't even get into the type of cancer she has. It's a leukemia. It's acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Is that correct, Anna?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so when you're fighting a type of cancer that's a blood disease, it's a little different in their approach. So we're going to talk to Anna about that. But before we jump in that way, life before, Anna, like, you talked about you're in PR, public relations. How was that for you? I mean, was that your passion?
I could say, yeah, it was kind of a passion. I worked in different companies, both like client side and agency side. And I was also a lecturer at a university, at a Hungarian university. And I really liked it. And actually, I have a job here in the US where I work for a nonprofit as a communication specialist, and I really love that too. Besides that, I had like a really active life. I really like doing workout and eating healthy, and I really like traveling. That was also like really like shocking when I get the diagnosis, because I always thought that no, I cancer and me, it just cannot happen, and since then I realized that it can happen to anyone. Nothing matters actually. And right now it's like, I'm glad we are talking now, because it's September Blood Cancer Awareness Month. And that's also why I like to talk about it. And I'm very active on social media. And I think I honestly share my journey with everyone, because I want people to know it. I want people to go for checkups if they feel odd, or even if not, just to go, yearly checkups. And I want people to know what it is. Because in the US, I think in every 3 minutes, a person is diagnosed with blood cancer, which is crazy.
Yeah. Those numbers are picking up, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to be able to have someone like you, Anna, as an advocate, someone who's going through it, we appreciate that so much, because we need more awareness out here. And so here we go, Anna is out here. She loves fitness. She's, working out and staying healthy and, living life. And then you meet a wonderful man out here, from what I'm understanding, and you get married, like you fall in love, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we just started our life. I just get my work permit. I started to work. And yeah, a few days before Christmas, before last Christmas, I was diagnosed. And actually, I had symptoms, but it was only the last week before the diagnosis. So it was kind of like, it's an acute leukemia. And oftentimes it can, the bad cells in your body can grow from like in 5 weeks, from like 0% to like 90 or something like that. And I think that's what happened with me too, because I had only symptoms for a week, and then thanks God, I went to the urgent care on a Sunday, and they were amazing. They did a full blood panel, and then the local ER called me on a Sunday night that I have to be there in an hour, and I should pack a bag, and my husband should come with me. And then I went there, and 5 minutes later, they told me that it's 80% that it's leukemia.
Wow.
Yeah. So at that night, I was airlifted to Denver, where I am right now. It's a 6-hour drive from Durango, where we were living. So I was airlifted here, and 2 days later, we started the chemotherapy. They said I don't really have too much time to wait, or freeze eggs or something like that. I cannot have child in the future. We don't know yet. So yeah, we started chemotherapy, and it's been 8.5 months.
Wow. And you don't talk about that as a whirlwind, right? I mean, that's just a 180-degree turn right away, right? Well, it really is a 360. You're like, what just happened? And so there's no preparing for that, Anna. Like, how did you get into a mental space where you can go to, or were you just going through the process in shock?
So obviously it was a shock. No one can prepare for it. It's like, it's just happening so like surprisingly, out of the blue. So it's kind of crazy. And obviously, my husband was near me, and we were in shock, and we cried a lot. And we, at the beginning, everyone asked, why me? Why it's happening? Why now? I mean, all of these questions where you cannot find answers, and it's really, really annoying. But I realized that the only thing I could do is like accepting this, try to stay positive, because I do believe that mind is like really important in this fight, and then to fight. And just do it day by day, and that's what we did. Just try to survive day by day. And actually, what was more shocking that so this therapy is a cancer treatment protocol for children and for young adults, and it has 3 parts. The first 2 is actually almost like 8 months, and
what is the name of that what is the name of the therapy you're under right now?
Oh, it's an ECOG 4103, I think. I'm not 100% sure about that. So it has three cores. The third one is a maintenance therapy called maintenance therapy, which lasts for like 1.5, 2 years. And that's what I was supposed to start on a Monday. But instead of that, I was admitted to the hospital because after the second course, there was a bone marrow biopsy to see, that everything goes well. And I had to go to the clinic, and my oncologist said that it seems like another type of leukemia relapsed. And that was when I was really in shock. When I'm like, like, how can it happen? I mean, I already did like 8 months of treatment. I really like experienced like all the ups and downs of this, of everything. And now I have to start again. And now I have another leukemia. I mean, how can it happen? And how can I fight for that? So before the admission, I got 4 days to be at home and prepare, and everything. And then on the first day, they repeated the bone marrow biopsy. And 2 days later, we were just hours from starting the chemotherapy when my oncologist came in, and he stopped the process because the repeated bone marrow biopsy looked way better. And it seemed that the biopsy was the first biopsy where we thought I have a relapsed leukemia, was just made in a time when those immature cells called myeloblasts were in a growing process. So they usually go from an immature cell to a mature white blood cell. And that's when we called them, but they were still in that immature phase. So the second one, which was like 10 days later, they already became mature ones. So, everything seemed better. So he stopped the process.
Right? Isn't that something? Like you hear the blood is in the immature process and it demonstrates one thing, but 10 days later, those cells matured and now it looks completely different.
Exactly. It's unbelievable and also a miracle. I feel that, So I was discharged from the hospital and we waited 1 week till all the detailed results came back from the biopsy, all the gene mutations and like forms and everything of the cells. And we also waited for my blood numbers to see if there, for example, if the white blood cells like spiking, that means that probably I have another leukemia. So we waited 1 week. I hope that no one ever has to go through this because that was crazy. And 1 week later, all the detailed results came back positive. I mean, negative, meaning that everything is, positive and I don't have like AML and all my blood numbers were great. So it seems that that miracles can happen, and even if I was totally shocked and I cannot even say it's like an emotional roller coaster. I feel it's way more than that. And yeah, so now it seems everything is okay. And I will go to the clinic tomorrow for another blood test. And hopefully like 1 or 2 weeks later, we can start that maintenance therapy for my first diagnosis.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I hope that's the road that you go on, right? These scares, I mean, it's already enough to go through it, to be shocked, to go through 8 months of treatment. And then, again, feel like, oh my goodness, everything we've worked for didn't work, right? So I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Anna, how are you getting your strength, right? Because I think for anyone that's listening out there, going through this and thinking, oh my God, how am I going to have the strength to fight this? Where does your strength come from? Where are you getting that?
Definitely from my husband and my family.
Where's your family?
Sorry? So my sister is in Florida right now, and my parents are in Hungary. And they were supposed to visit me. Like, we were talking about that in like every week when they should come. But most of the time in these 8 months, I was like neutropenic, which means that I don't really have immune system. So, I'm totally like, I mean, it's totally risky to meet with people, to be in crowd, to go anywhere because of potential infections. So we decided that, thanks to FaceTime, we can see each other every day, we can talk. And that's more important than risk an infection. I actually got an infection, probably a food poisoning in July. And that was 2 weeks. And it was the worst 2 weeks in my life.
Wow.
That was really crazy.
Worse than the treatments.
Absolutely. I mean, it was actually like a severe diarrhea and I got dehydrated. I had to go to the hospital for 8 days. My electrolytes crashed. I thought I'm going to die. It was scary and I had really like a bad time. I couldn't eat anything for like 10 days. I lost almost 20 pounds in like a week. I was very weak, I could barely walk. So it was really crazy. So yeah, so half of them is in the country, half of them back in Hungary. And when the time comes and when it will be safe, they will visit me immediately.
For sure. But it's them, right? And that's your support group. And talk to us about how that helps you and strengthens you to continue on. That support group.
Yeah. So first of all, I just love them so much. And I always felt in my whole life that they were here for me, they supported me. And also that I could just move to my husband a year ago. So I was like, I want to experience everything with him. I want to love him as, until I'm like 100-year-old. And I also really love life and I love living. And I was like, I'm 34. It's not the end. And also I feel like I kind of have to like work for everything in my life, So probably that, and maybe also sports. Maybe they also had, but mostly my family and all the love around me, which is amazing.
Yes. It's important, right, Anna? I tell everyone, being able to have a support group is so important because it gives you the strength to move forward. They give you the hope, to hold on to, right? And it sounds like our family does that.
Absolutely. And as I said, I'm very active on social media, and I had a chance to meet or talk with like other cancer patients or survivors, and I felt that it's really useful, and they are also loving, and they know what you are going through, because exactly, I mean, even if your caregiver is with you 24/7, really those can understand it who went through it. So I think that's also very important, that there is an amazing community out there from all over the world who you can, connect and talk and just discuss some symptoms or how they are or what they, suggest you, what makes it easier if there is anything. So yeah, I do believe this is very important.
Yes. And what have you found that makes things easier for you as you go through this process?
I think positivity for sure. And what I realized, which is very hard sometimes, because you don't have appetite, or you are nauseous, or your taste changed. But what I realized that the chemo side effects can be handled easier if you drink a lot and if you eat a lot. So that's what I realized, which is, again, it's very hard or maybe impossible sometimes. But for example, for my induction phase, which was the first phase when I spent like 37 days in the hospital, I could eat a lot and I could drink a lot of water. So that definitely helped with the side effects. And there are like little tricks that how can you change the taste of a food, or if smells bother you, that don't be in the kitchen while someone makes you food or stuff like that. It's like very tiny things, but they can really help.
Yes. Yes. And you hear that, over the years, I've heard, your smell, it changes, and the things that irritate you and make you feel nauseous, and just the taste, the chemotherapy sometimes changes the taste of food. Right. And so trying to find something that you want to eat that is even palatable. Right.
Absolutely. For example, it's really interesting because I really love sweets and chocolate before my diagnosis, but since then I cannot eat them. I just don't like it. And I started to really like salty foods, and there were weeks when I was living on mashed potatoes and chicken soup, because that was the only two things I could somehow swallow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. The Anna we have in front of us now, this is a warrior, Anna. You're still going through, the treatments now of kind of what they call that, remission treatments, or
yes.
Yeah. So you're going through that now. What is the Anna? How do you see life differently now, Anna, in comparison to the Anna before the diagnosis? What's different about you?
I think I have a totally new perspective on life. And, I always took everything for granted. So I never thought that I will have like a life-threatening sickness I have to fight for. I was always like, yeah, the next day I will just wake up and I can do whatever I want. So, I realized that it's really important to enjoy life and to appreciate the small things. And I feel in the last few weeks, I was able to go for a walk, and I cannot tell you how I loved it and how I felt free. and I was like a little kid that, oh my God, the grass is green and it's so beautiful. And I don't know, there's a creek there. And everything which was like, like default, it's not that anymore, because you can never know. And I remember when I spent that 37 days in the hospital, I didn't have fresh air. I couldn't see people out there. I couldn't see anything. So after getting out, I'm like, oh my God, sunshine. Oh my God, I feel wind, And so I really think that I will appreciate more the small things, and that I will never take anything for granted, because it's not. And it can happen to anyone, no matter how healthy you are, no matter what you are doing in life, it can just happen.
Yeah. I think all of us, Anna, sometimes we take life for granted, not understanding how life can change in an instant, and you sharing with us, it really helps us to reflect back on that, on what's really important, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just realized that, I stressed a lot. I used to stress a lot and overthink everything, but I realized that health is the most important, because you cannot do anything if you are not healthy, So yeah, and I realized that I would like to, say no more, and to be a little more selfish, and to spend as much time with my loved ones as I can.
Yeah.
Because that's the important stuff in life.
I love it. So you're a newlywed here. So let's switch the gears a little bit. So tell me, what is some of the favorite things that you and your husband value together now?
So we do like eating and dining in, and try new foods and new restaurants. Thanks God, in Colorado there are tons of types of restaurants and really good foods and really good breweries. So we really like to do that, and we really like outdoor activities. So like hiking, mountain biking, running, walking, winter sports, and like everything which is outdoors, in the nature. And unfortunately, we had to delay all of this for a while, because it just couldn't happen.
Sure. And it's nice now, right, Anna? You have the strength to go out on these walks. You have the strength, and your immune system is up now where you can go to these restaurants, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I still wear masks in everywhere. Still the disinfection, hand sanitizer is my best friend wherever I go. And I don't go to crowded places. I don't go inside in a restaurant, I eat on the patio. And actually yesterday was the first time when I went to a grocery store this year, which was like amazing, so I try to be safe, and that's my priority, to not to just finish this treatment and be as healthy while I'm doing it as possible, and then I can go back to life like as I lived before.
Yeah, with a different perspective, though, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So like physically, probably I will do the things I did before, but not mentally. That has totally changed.
Yes. Anna, tell us a little bit about, some of the values you've learned growing up with your family that you now realize and value now, right?
Yeah. So also the most important, that I'm coming from a very loving and supporting family. And so relationships with people who are really close to me, that's really important. And I kind of learned that I have to work for everything. And I learned, especially in the last 10 years, being with my sister a lot, who is very optimistic and positive. So I learned from her how to be that. And I think these are things which really helps me to go through this journey.
Yeah, for sure. It's nothing like family, huh?
I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very fortunately my husband's parents and his sister and our niece is also amazing, and they did everything to support us in this journey. So I couldn't be more grateful for them. They are, all of them are so amazing, and I feel so lucky.
Yes. We encourage that, for those that are listening and we're able to hear what Anna is saying, that support group, your family, those values that you've learned growing up, they come back to serve you as an adult. And you can see that, especially in some of the most trying times we go through in life. And so we thank you, Anna, for sharing that and to help us to see, a support team, the family, and those that are supporting around us, the friends, are always amazing. You just don't know who's going to show up, and when they do, it's a wonderful feeling.
Absolutely. And, I would tell to our cancer patient who doesn't have that kind of supportive family or team around us, that don't be afraid to reach out to cancer patients on social media or cancer survivors, and also to organizations. There are amazing ones who can help and who also helped me, and I'm so grateful for them too, because what they are doing is just amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, I think it's very important not to do it alone, and we are, all of us are in this together.
Absolutely. And Anna, speaking of that, you also have a GoFundMe page, right, on social media. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like all the medical bills and all the medical bills are just nuts. And I mean, like the insurance here and all of this kind of stuff is like very complicated, but also like nuts. So I feel that it's not enough that cancer patients have to go through this, but they probably will have a debt in all of their life. So that's why my sister-in-law made a GoFundMe page for us. So if anyone feel that they can help, they help us, and that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And
so thank you for everyone who helped us.
Oh yeah, Anna. It's one of the things here. Medical, it's a cost for sure, and those bills add up quickly. And so it's not only that you're trying to fight, a horrific disease like cancer, but you also have to deal with the financial burden that's on top of that. So, I want to make sure that I have mentioned that the GoFundMe, Anna, you can find her on social media, and we'll be tagging her on all the posts that we release of her episode. And so, yes, Anna, we'll make sure we do our best to keep you supported. Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it can be very overwhelming, to not just fight and do all of these treatments, but to also have like tons of bills coming in.
So Anna, your outlook, how does your medical team now feel looking at the progress you're made, and how does that, their outlook and your hope, give you a brighter look in the future?
So I have an amazing team. I'm working with the Colorado Blood Cancer Institute and the Presbyterian St. Luke's Medical Center here in Denver, and they are amazing. And my doctor, my oncologist, Dr. Marcello Rota, he's actually Italian, so almost a neighbor, but he's amazing. And he told me the first time that this diagnosis it's curable. It's not just treatable, it's curable. And everything looks like very positive, because after the induction phase, after that 37 days in the hospital, I immediately reached remission. So that really indicated that the treatment is working. And it seemed that I don't need a bone marrow transplant, which is also an amazing thing. When I had that second diagnosis, like not even a month ago, we thought I will need the transplant. but thanks God, it seems I don't. I mean, never say never with a blood cancer, because it can happen anytime. But right now everything seems good. And actually I had tons of side effects, but not like crazy ones. I only had one infection. So I kind of like, I think I feel lucky, and the doctors also feel that everything went how it should. And all the side effects, what happened was really, I mean, it's that's what they were waiting for.
Yes, it's good. That's always positive news and a great outlook, right? Something to hold on to, like, and hope, being able to have on hope, having something that you look forward to, something that you lean upon, and whether that's your faith, whether it's your family, it's good to have something that can motivate you to continue to moving forward.
Absolutely. And what I learned is that hope is stronger than fear. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I try to like think about that and see that okay, it's curable. I can do it. I was shocked, and when he told me that it will be like a 3-year treatment, and I thought that it will be like half a year, and then after that I can forget about it. And when he told me it will be like 3 years, and I'm like, oh my God, how will I able to do that? But I try to focus on that it's curable, and I'm gonna fight it and beat it.
Absolutely. And you are a warrior, and we support you for sure. And thank you so much for coming. But before we let you go, I always ask this, and I say, Anna, what would you like our listeners to know? What would it be a message that you want to give to them that they can take away?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I would say, I would ask everyone to go for yearly checkups. And if they feel that something is odd, something doesn't feel okay, and if they have symptoms, go immediately to their doctors, because it's really important, to have a diagnosis as early as possible, and it's easier to beat it. So yeah, that's what I would ask everyone.
Go get your checkup, everyone. Annual checkup, super important. Health is wealth. That's what we say here,
Exactly.
Anna, we want to thank you so much for joining us on All Talk Oncology. It's been a pleasure having you, and thank you for sharing your journey and your experience.
Thank you so much, Kenny, and thank you for having me, and good luck for everyone who have to deal with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.